Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Building Better Bodies with Deven and the Docs. I'm Dr. Amir Rashidian with Mid-Atlantic Chiropractic. That right there, you met her last time, is Dr. Nicole Heatherly, and this is the star of our show, the bodybuilder and personal trainer extraordinaire, Deven Brady.
Thank you.
And today, what are we going to talk about?
We are going to talk about timelines today. Just a few minutes ago, Deven, Dr. Amir, and I were talking about timelines because I know I've been someone who I always have a timeline. I'm like, if I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to set this date and it should be done by then. Another thing is we all, Americans, it's become a common thing nowadays that we all want things so fast.
Yeah.
I want my coffee right away. TV's on demand, everything's on demand. So
Right.
with that, people want to work out for a week or to work out here and there and get results.
Right.
So Deven, can you explain to us a bit of why that mentality doesn't really work with, things like bodybuilding or anything in life? It really doesn't, but can you connect it to bodybuilding?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. So the reason why bodybuilding is unique is that bodybuilding truly is, when done appropriately, in my opinion, is a process. So it's one that takes time, right? The fact of the matter is we're not dealing with a statue. We're not dealing with a sculpture. It's not as easy to just lump clay on if you want to build size. Like it's the human body, so it's trying to adapt. It's going to fight against you. It wants balance. So you're gonna encounter conflict every step along the way. So when somebody comes up to me and they say, Deven, I want to achieve X result and I want to achieve it by Y date, that's not an unhealthy practice.
Memorial Day.
Right.
Pool opens.
Unless they tell you 3 days later,
Unless
right?
they tell right. So that's not an unhealthy practice. Some would even consider it a critical component to effective goal setting. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that you should have some sort of timeline. My problem and the conflict comes in the rigidity that often accompanies hard date setting. Okay? The problem being is that if people don't achieve a desired result in that amount of time, those people tend to feel like they failed.
Even though they're much better off now than they were.
Absolutely. It's difficult to appreciate the progress they've made in the process because they allow themselves to be vindicated or validated or defeated by their ability to meet that goal. So when it comes to something as complex as the human body, we need to be mindful of its ability to be flexible and sometimes work with us and sometimes work against us. So what that means is when we're dealing with the human body, be realistic, keep an open mind. Understand that what you're going to doing is take time and find ways to find happiness in little bits of progress every day. And understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to happen over time. And if you see it that way, I think you're going to be happier. I think you're going to find ways to enjoy the process more. And I think you're going to be much less likely to give up or get disheartened or discouraged at the first moment a challenge comes up, and challenge will always come up.
Absolutely. It's called resistance.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the number one reason people fail to achieve their dreams and goals is because they're not willing to handle the resistance that they're going to face, the challenges, the stress they're going to hit on that road. You're going after something. If you want it bad enough, though, you don't stop. If I wanted to get to New York City from here, and I don't have a car, I don't have a plane, and I don't have my helicopter gassed up and ready to go, what do? I start walking, right? And do I quit halfway through because I only made it halfway in the time I wanted? No, I keep going. You just go till you get to that destination.
Yeah, and we see that all the time in our practice with patients with chiropractic care.
Yeah.
They think, oh, I've had this pain for 10 years, and they think it's going to be better in a week. And,
Right.
We always tell them it's a process. Physiologically in the body, it just doesn't work that way. Health is, we always say health is a journey. Healing is a journey. It's not a destination. You don't heal and then you're done and you stop everything. Bodybuilding is the same way, right? It's a lifestyle. You don't get to a point and then stop everything, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to one more last point on that topic is another potential danger of hard date setting, hard goal setting, which is again so essential to both bodybuilding as well as chiropractic, is another issue that can arise when people set that hard date for accomplishment is that they fail to realize that there's another day after that. When you fixate on one particular date, one particular time or goal, let's say best case scenario, you reach it. what then, right? That becomes the question. And so when you look at people who do engage in fad diets, you know, they have an X number, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 7 pounds. Guess what happens? They reach that goal. And then all of the progress that accompanied that goal, or all the lifestyle changes, they were as temporary as the goal itself. So what happens often is those people fall back on old ways, and a lot of times that weight will come back, or that goal will recede or regress because they don't have any future plan. It's not a long-term lifestyle, it's an X and Y. And that's the kind of mindset we're going to try to break you away from.
Kind of like a lot of professional bodybuilders, the week after a contest, they kind of go nuts. They look like a totally different person.
They have their cheat meal.
That's right. I mean, you know, so that's what it looks like when you set a deadline. You hit your deadline, you celebrate a little too hard.
That's right.
Aren't those your game days?
Yeah, sure.
Is that what that's called, or is that just that's what you use as the excuse, right?
Right.
But
that's one way to look at it.
You know, in all seriousness, everything you said feels to me like it came out of a book called Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have. Yeah.
Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
So he said he was in a concentration camp at Auschwitz, and they didn't know when they were going to get out. But he said they had a group of people who were extremely optimistic, and they said, we're going to get out by Christmas.
Right.
And so they stayed healthy, they stayed vibrant. Christmas came. They didn't get out of the concentration camp. The next day, they broke down. Within a week, within a month, they all died. They couldn't take it anymore because their deadline was this. And I'm going to be optimistic until this day. But then the others, which was Viktor Frankl's group, they were like, we are going to get out. I don't know when. I don't know how. But I am going to maintain faith that it's going to pay off. And eventually, we're going to get where we want to be.
That's right.
And they're the ones that survived. I mean, what condition can you think of that'd be worse than something like that? You think going to the gym is tough.
That's right.
So what about the magic pill? You know, can't you take the magic pill and like wake up the next day looking great?
Yeah. Well, as much as I'd like to say that, as much as I'd like to own the patent on that pill, that's not going to be the case. So unfortunately, it is going to take a lot of time, a lot of hard work. But the way I like to think about it, if you don't want to worry about goal setting, if you don't want to look too far in the future, keep your scale and window small. Focus on 24 hours. Look as every day as an opportunity to do one of 3 things. Stay exactly where you are, take a step forward, or take a step backward. Okay, so if you can string a number of days together, where each day you're taking a small step forward, in a little bit of time, weeks, months, you're going to be a lot farther along than you were when you started. And that's the important thing.
I love it. And you know, here's the thing. If you want to set a deadline and a goal, my recommendation is that you pick a do goal, not a be goal. So you say, I am going to read a book a week for the next 6 weeks. I'm going to have 6 books done. You have control over that. But if you say I'm going to be fluent in Spanish in 6 weeks, you don't have any control over that because you don't know what it's going to take. So if the goal is, let's say I set a goal that between now and Labor Day, end of the summer, I'm going to hit the gym 30 times. That's a goal you can set with a deadline, and it's all right. And I'm not saying I'm going to look like this or that. I'm just going to say I'm going to improve my physique during that time. And then afterwards, I'm going to reassess. Do I want to start going more often? Do I want to make my workouts longer? But it's a do goal, which is under my control.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Get in a mindset of positivity, you know. It's a good practice in anything you do, not just bodybuilding or any kind of physical pursuit, but just life in general. Wake up with the mindset of, I'm going to be better tomorrow than I was today. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday. And that doesn't necessarily mean the physical, right? But you just adapt a positive mindset, and I think you'll be pretty amazed by how that starts to affect life around you.
Yeah, positivity goes a long way.
That's right.
Absolutely, because the alternative raises cortisol, breaks down muscle tissue, makes you gain fat, you lose your memory, and you can't think well. I mean, there's so many bad things about it. So listen, we're almost out of time. I want to tell you one more time, just like we do every time, that you've got to stop by One Life Fitness. You've got to get in there, get your 7 days. Meet Deven.
Go see this guy.
That's right. Yeah, let him show you a few things. He's not gonna let you overdo it. You're not gonna feel terrible. It's good to be sore, but you're gonna start small and you're gonna take a step forward every day. It's so important. You're gonna want to change your life that way. And tune in next time for the next video with Deven and the Docs. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everyone.